Hey guys, it's Crusty Old Crow back again, doing another video on his conversions. It's not a figure review, no tactical perspective today because I don't have a new figure to review since the Cobra onslaught I put out there, and but that ain't mean I don't have new figures to work on. I am, as you guys knowing, switching a bit of focus, not just doing my toy reviews and news about Joe and discussions about Joe. I'm also going to return back to my more creative side, which brought me to YouTube, which was creating the backdrops and the props and vehicles and other things that I had planned out. Now that I've got the shop all set up for the season and it's going to stay the way it is, last thing I have to do is get my airbrush fixed, but I'm in no hurry. I have a lot of fun doing scratch builds, guys. So these next few videos that I'm doing are about my main scratch build projects, and I think I have 4 that I'm putting my focus on outside of figures. Why 4 at a time? It's because of the ADHD, guys. I got to be able to bounce around and push out ideas on my own part, and I mentioned that in another video where I'll work on one for a couple of weeks straight. That'll take a couple months off of it, work on something else, and then come back to it and, eventually finish them. That's how I did my Cobra Island. That's how I did my Fob. And that's how I used to do game table terrain and a lot of conversion vehicles for tabletop gaming. So I'm no stranger to scratch building, really. I'm no expert at it either. But I'm having a blast of it because this is the first time I've been working on a 6-inch scale like G.I. Joe Classified, and I've been watching a lot of other videos of guys who are a lot like me with a lot of great imaginations, hell, massive imaginations, and coming up with phenomenal things that I just find inspiring, and it makes me want to go back and complete the stuff I was doing. So I'm going to focus today on one I kind of left things hanging on, which was my hovercraft. I'm going to explain to you what happened to it, why I kind of let it go for a bit, and what's bringing me back to it. So as you guys remember, like the G.I. Joe hovercraft was probably our first real cool, well, my first real big vehicle. For one, that's the Night Force variant, but this was my very first G.I. Joe big fun play toy, and it was exactly for this reason. I would go out to the parks, into my friends' backyards, and whatnot, and sometimes even the pools and things, and play with my hovercraft and my Joes with my friends, and it was just a great set. And seeing the HasLab Dragonfly, the HasLab Hiss, and realizing what the HasLab would charge for a hovercraft as a retiree with it, living on my pension, that's going to be a hard sell to the wife if they ever make it. I mean, I'll have to be real good at a lot of things before that ever got approved, I'm sure. But why wait? You guys know I am building my own. This is it in the background, and I'm just gonna probably move that inward so that the light's not a problem for it. But before I bring that in, one of the big things about the old G.I. Joe hovercraft that I just didn't like were these, they were supposed to be anti-armor weapons, like 105s. At best, they were artillery pieces, but there was no recuperator system and nothing inside to justify that kind of armament barrel. There was no meat to the bones, and no, like I said, recuperator or loader system behind it. And the idea, like I said, of having a hovercraft with no actual physical traction, really, especially on water, firing off these massive weapons with no ability to absorb the recoil, it just didn't make sense to me. So I wanted to step away from doing that. But everything else about it, I kind of wanted to retain as much as I could. So when you last saw it, it was sitting in my garage, I was saying, oh, this is pretty much about 80%. And there was still a lot I wasn't happy with. I wasn't happy with how undetailed the fan and what engine assembly was. It was kind of wobbly. And the whole crew section, pardon me, this whole apparatus here with the crew hatch coming out on there, it was very difficult to work with and to set. So I've decided to scrap that piece entirely and go with something else. And you also knew I was working on on another hovercraft. Initially, it started off as the Wolverine variant for CoverGirl, and then yeah, I decided no, that's got to be a water moccasin for Cobra clearly, and that's sitting off to the side. But that's going to be another project at another time. It's not on the itinerary. Today, what I'm going to talk about is this guy. So we're going to bring you over to the hovercraft. We'll bring the hovercraft to you. How's about that? And we'll talk about what's going on. I wonder how many shots it would be if I dropped that, right? You know how it's two, if it's a figure. It's going to be a lot more if it's this, I'm sure. But it's not the worst thing that's happened to this thing. And anybody tracking, like I said, when you leave it in the garage and the mice get a little bit finicky, you know, they're gonna go after stuff, and for some reason they went after this hovercraft and did so with ferocity. I couldn't even be mad. I was like, man, what the, but okay, it's my own fault for leaving it out there. But so this week on the agenda, and I'm just gonna pull out I'm going to show you when I was away for Christmas. I planned that this week would be all about multiple projects, getting some launched and some finished, right? Finishing Bull, and I really got a mean on for this hovercraft. So I came up with some refocus for it here. I'm just going to show you. I did a lot of like initial sketches sitting just after Christmas Day and just working out some concepts and ideas and working out what it was through photographs of what I was that I didn't like and what I did. And I really wasn't happy with the fin set, but the foundation is there that I can work with it. But I had some concepts of what I'm going to do with it. So the fin set is going to be a focus. When I'm talking about the fin set, I am talking about, whoa, right here. I got lazy when I built these, and I did a triple fin set when I should have done a quadruple fin set. Now, I'm not going to build a fourth fin for it. I am just going to put some brass sheeting and some extra plating. And I'm just going to get into the details and the pulleys, like maybe some levers and things like that, so that they all move in synchronicity that way. I'm also going to make this look like that opens up more, hide the fact that this is a lot of wood at play as best as I can. Just using the bits and pieces I have around. And guys, I have a lot of bits and pieces. Like, I am a hoarder of parts, and this is why I'm doing these projects, is because before I move, I want to burn through these boxes of excess pieces and crap that I've been keeping over the years, because I'm minimalizing and getting my own workshop into place, but I want to keep it organized. So I got to get rid of a lot of stuff. So before I zoom in, I'll just finish showing you the rest of the sketches here that I was working with. I have a new seating system inside, a new crew hatch planned out, the new fins, and then most importantly is going to be a removable roof section that doesn't interfere with the engine. I am going to glue down this cabin, which I thought was smart, having it all be sectionally taken apart sectionally, but it really wasn't. And whoa, there we go. So 2 shots. No, that was just a bit. You get nothing for a bit. It's just standard Crow style. There you go. So thinking about some MBGDs or some mortar system to sit at the, you know, for barraging the shorelines, but this section, I was happy with it, but it still needs a lot more detail, and I'm not keeping this paint job. It's all getting a repaint, and I'll talk about that later. But just the accessories on the side and everything, I didn't want this to go to waste, but I do wish I had made this an opening door. I did not. It does not open. It's just a 2-sided door. But overall, with the inside cabin, it made sense at the time, and I've got a good enough representation of some nautical crap, a tech and a first aid kit, all that stuff in there. And then I've got the little jump seat, which I'm going to put a little bit more detail to it and finish her up, because the jump seats are going to be different in the back than this one. So this one's going to be unique for the Pilot, as it doesn't function. It does not fold up, and I'm not ripping it apart to make this one fold up because I need something for the Pilot. That's going to get hard fixed in there. And you see the Ram Gatling gun in there because you guys, if you remember, I had the Gatling gun sitting on this cupola where I now have Shipwreck a torpedo sitting. I do have the riggings with the ammo and everything set up so that it can be used there, and I will continue to use it. I just probably won't be using the Tiger Force version, but I had it there to remind me to show you that there was storage area under the deck for things like the Ram sidecar. When the cupola was in play with the cannon, I could stick the sidecar up there. And back when I had the bike up top, that's why it was also down there. But I plan on moving the bike onto a skid inside the actual hovercraft as part of the new details. So basically, we're going to hard set this back in it. I'm going to hammer it down. It's carved in stone and it's stamped. Same as this engine and back deck area and the fans. That's all going to get secured down. It's not currently. I can take it out, but it'll shift the balance right easily because it is a heavy piece. But basically, I'm just going to build around it and just keep the removable roof. The removable roof, it's basically going to sit about this level, just below, probably below a bit or flush with the cabin area, and then it'll be able to be taken off so I can do the posing inside. So inside is where I wanted to show where everything's represented currently. So where you see a white square or the purple, sorry that fell down, but the purple thing, it's basically seating. So I had it laid out so that you would have enough crew capacity seating for 10 figurines, plus one in there, plus one in the cupola, and also I'm going to be replacing this with a much better, it's just a reminder, a medical area, like a first aid area, and then a ramp that will angle over that for the crew to go out and things like that. It'll just be a drop ramp, but that's secured while they have a patient kind of thing. I hope that's showing up well enough, but that's the general concept. So the inside, it's to open it up, it's to allow figures to go inside, have space and dedicated seating for them. And then that legitimizes it as far as I see as to why I even built the damn thing. It was meant to put what was my collection on at the time, which at the time was like maybe 40-50 troops, and I wanted to put about half of them on there just to do something like that. So I kind of want to go back to that where it has a lot more space. So that's what we're going to do. That I got the pieces all measured out and everything like that. So I'll just push this off to the back here, and I'll put the camera back up, and I'll explain what's going to happen on the side pieces there. Yeah, and I hope I don't turn the video off halfway through that. There we go. So some things that are going to be included in that. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, as I'm going to be doing a series more of them tonight and tomorrow. As many as it takes to get the 4 projects described. But I had a little thing set aside for that. But I have some bits and pieces all set aside for this this hovercraft project here. And even the tub itself might see some reuse in a future project. But basically, things I found lying around. I found this the other day. It's just a rubber side. It's a relay bracket piece or something for wire cabling, as I found it in a parking lot. But I think it's going to make for a good supplement piece for what I need with the comms relay station, because I didn't show you this. The old piece is going to get sacrificed and ripped apart, and pieces are going to get salvaged. It's just sitting up here right now, but I have to salvage all that side kit that I had for it, and as much kit as I can salvage off of it, I will, because there's still some good wood and usable parts there that can be reused. Same as all what I had for the engine steam, like the exhaust and other pieces. What I won't be retaining is I'm not going to have that lift set, and I'm not going to have these domes because I want to have doors that open on the sides. So like I said, I'm going to show you the side pieces that are going to go for cutting tomorrow. By going for cutting, I mean over to the workbench over there, and I will drink my coffee and cut them. But you see, I keep lots of dollar store wood and like a lot of just hobby materials around and things like that. But yeah, so I've got this one. This is going to be for the back. So it's just going to be a cut section here with some cuts there, and it'll sit back there. It'll tuck under this and keep it flush with that. These cut sections are going to be rear firing positions. So I'll show you that door. So that it'll be rearward firing positions, because I kind of want to have a kind of swing gate or little hatch where somebody sitting here can fire at the back on the side here, because we're going to have doors on the sides, that on one side. So I think it's just the one side we've got the door. I went with one door and one crew hatch still at the front, because you need the crew hatch for the bike to get out, so the majority of the crew can get out of that side. We're simulating that this is a functional door, so I definitely have another door over there. I'm trying to remember if I put I worked with a couple of designs, whether it had another door that did function there or didn't. But which side is this? This is the left side. So there's the door marked for the left side, and that's why I have this piece. I don't need a full crew door. A half crew door is fine. Something they can get in and out. It does, you know, if you've ever been on a ship, not everything is convenient to get into. Sometimes they're tight spaces, but they still work. So I'm going to be trimming off this top part of the board, cutting out the door and some window area, and then building up off that. So I've got the back and the sides there already pre-measured. Everything's been pre-measured out. I took measurements and went through my drafts and everything like that. And then this other side, that's right, there was no door on this side. Which one was this? Because it was a shorter panel, that was why. So this shortened panel is just going to be on this side here, and that'll close that up here. I still have to do things to box this up, but with the engine support, I'm basically going to structure some strength into here and then cover some things up. So not everything is noticeable, but I will improve the fans with brass sheeting. A lot of brass sheeting going onto those and these, I think. And then we will be doing some covering up of this sloppy mess up here and up here, just to make it all nice and tidy, so that when we have the new, we'll call it a crew compartment piece here, and then the removable piece up there, it'll look cleaner. So that's pretty much where we're going with that. Yeah. That's good. So one of the great pleasures about doing a new approach to this thing was I had always wanted to do a custom cutter for this thing. And because it's just a variant, it's a custom. Like I said, sorry, I am going to cut this whole section out here to here, and replace everything. So that'll be cleaned up. Sorry. This whole section here, that'll all get cleaned up. That's another thing that has to do before I can proceed. Rip this railing off and replace that probably, or strengthen it. But part of it is coming up with a pilot. So you guys remember Brad, if you ever watched my series on the 80s Joes and how they measure up to classified, you know Brad was, he had a problem with the what is it, White Dragon there, the Kill King, and was a designer for Hasbro, as I described him during the 80s, where we came up with some really funky characters. But Brad was always purchased with the intent of being my cutter. Now, I wasn't going to deal with a hat for cutter on this one, but you know, I've seen some of the 3D printed heads that our friend Loki has in his collection. I realized that there could be a cutter head there. But I was basically going to take this box off. That's going to get used on another vehicle. I'll show you on another video. And then do the whole life vest riggings over this. And just maybe some Arctic gloves, Arctic wear, because it's a Northern Response vehicle. And maybe it won't be cutter. Maybe this will be one of my Devil Company, Red Devil Company conversions. I don't know. But having that pilot there, what I liked about it was he's shorter than the others, but in an acceptable measure. That's why I had these guys here. It gives a place for these guys to hang out and be dudes, right? Having hovercraft in your collection for sure. But if you look, he could just be the shortest Joe on the team. Right? It would still, I think, work. if we did it right. But you know, maybe I just won't have him standing so close to things. Maybe he'll do the Tom Cruise and stand on boxes when he's around everybody. I don't know, but I just thought it was funny because earlier I said Bull was a bigger guy than any Joan by Classified, same as the Crimson Guard Immortal I'm working on. Yeah, I thought same deal. Speaking of Crimson Guard Immortal and Bull, it's not about them. I'll just quickly show you. Dry brushes and washes and everything are done on Bull. Things are starting to unfold there. And with the Crimson Guard Immortal, we have done some stripping and whatnot. And I'll just show you. He is rendered down. But those guys are going to be a separate video and possibly some shorts. And the next video I'm going to do is probably going to be on either the diorama or one of two other vehicles I'm working on. And neither of them are the moccasin that I need to finish up. Okay, talk to you on next video. See ya.